It's another time when we bring you in the news, a Voice of Nigeria program, where we bring personalities to talk on issues that have made news headlines. My name is Godwin Uka, your host. You can still listen to this program if you go through our website of www.von.go.ng. Other platforms where you could reach us, you could go through TuneIn Radio, Seeker Radio, and Radio Garden. I want you to know that I have a special guest that you would love to meet. You'll meet him in a moment. That is the Director General of the National Boundary Commission, Mr. Adamu Adaji. Sir, welcome to the Voice of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
We are right in his office. The Nigerian National Boundary Commission was first established in 1987. It was transformed into a National Commission Act in 2006. The new act empowers the Commission to operate at a higher level to solve problems that involve land and maritime boundaries and landmarks between states in Nigeria and externally, between Nigeria and her neighboring countries. The National Boundary Commission is saddled with the responsibility of intervening and handling boundary disputes with the primary aim of bringing sustainable solutions to the conflicts. The man in charge of this organization is a seasoned surveyor, Mr. Adamu Adaji, whose wealth of diverse experience has taken the Commission to higher heights. He is a member of the Surveyors Registration Council of Nigeria, SOCON, and Nigerian Institute of Surveyors, NIS. He was appointed the Director General of the National Boundary Commission on August 7th, 2020. Sir, once again, welcome to Voice of Nigeria in the News.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.
So I just want us to take off wanting to know what's actually the core mandate of National Boundary Commission.
Thank you very much. Just like you highlighted in your introductory remarks, the Commission is empowered to handle issues on boundaries in all its ramifications. So we handle internal boundaries, which comprises of the boundary between communities of Nigeria, the boundary between local government areas, and the boundaries between the states. We also handle the boundaries of Nigeria and our neighbors, both land boundaries and maritime boundaries. Essentially, the Commission is supposed to intervene and deal with all boundary issues, both internally and externally, with the aim of resolving any dispute where they are, defining these boundaries, and maintaining cordial transborder cooperation amongst the states and between Nigeria and our neighbors. So essentially, we are managers of boundary affairs, of course, to show limits of each of these constituents, be it a community, local government, state, or Nigeria as a whole. So ours is to define the territorial space of all these units. And of course, since we know some of them are saddled with disputes because of the way they emerged, we try as much as possible to resolve these boundary disputes and also define these boundaries to make sure that they are made feasible and known and respected as expected.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, this is your second year in office. How has the journey been like?
One thing I've decided to delve into is the issue of the physical demarcation of these boundaries, because as we know, a boundary cannot perform its function until it is visible on ground and known to the people it's supposed to serve. So if we have been resolving boundary issues technically on maps and papers without physically going on ground to demarcate them, we can't say they have been conclusively decided. That's why I, perhaps from my background as a surveyor, I now decided that let's work hand in hand with our other sister agencies to make sure that we show these boundaries physically on ground. And I've gone into that. Thank God, with the corporations of the states, we've been able to make some inward into this demarcation process. So we have demarcated a couple of these boundaries over the years, and I think it's something that I'm happy that we're making progress, steady progress. And of course, one thing, the issues of boundaries are capital intensive, and I must also commend the administration, this current administration, for giving us that empowerment in terms of resources to make sure that we're back on this physical demarcation that is capital intensive. So we want to be grateful that we have the opportunity and we're making progress. And we'll do our best to make sure that at least not too far in future, we'll be able to have all our boundaries clearly defined and demarcated.
Okay, what's the state of boundary demographic demarcations in Nigeria? I ask this question because most of the boundary areas in the country are still, most of those old during the colonial rules and all what have you. So what's the state? What's the improvement in what they had left on ground?
Yeah, the boundaries we working with now are boundaries we inherited from our colonial masters, except for some that the different administrations have had cause to tinker with, to adjust.
Especially during the creation of states.
Yes, especially when states were created.
I know that sometimes the problems in some of these communities is the issue of boundaries, land acquisition, and all that, and it leads to conflict. So, how have you been able to? What mechanism have you been put to ensure that these conflicts are reduced based on your mandate?
Yes, the in the wisdom of the government of Nigeria, National Boundary Commission was created, and the Act establishing National Boundary Commission provided that in each of the states we should have what we call the state boundary committees, and each of the local governments will have also what we call the local government boundary committees. These three committees, these two committees are to work hand in hand with National Boundary Commission to ensure that issues pertaining to land disputes, boundary disputes are resolved amicably. It's not uncommon that, of course, people, because of perceptions of boundaries, will have differences and have conflicts, claims, and counterclaims. But when these three teams of boundary management work in synergy, we're able to at least sensitize them, educate them, and bring them to accept what boundaries really are supposed to be for. So we're working hand in hand with these other tiers of government, and we're trying as much as possible to sensitize the people to accept boundary for what is the logic of boundary instead of the politics of boundaries. And the logic is that yes, these boundaries are necessary just to show administrative limits, and that these boundaries cannot in any way and do not in any way sever people from their properties across the boundary. We're all Nigerians, people are free to own properties everywhere. So if you are on this side of the boundary and your properties are on the other side, you have claim to them and have rights over them. So with that understanding, people are not so beginning to see that the boundaries should not be something that should be seen as a do or die matter, because properties are protected wherever they are. And of course, issues of resources along boundary corridors have also generated interest and conflicts. We're trying to see how government can at least take that policy decision to see how straddling border resources are co-owned by the affected states, affected local governments, affected communities, and be so enjoyed accordingly.
I've been talking with a seasoned surveyor, Mr. Adamu Adaji, the Director General, National Boundary Commission in Nigeria. So thank you for coming to and being with us in the program In the News on Voice of Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
You can still listen to this program if you go to our website of www.von.gov.ng. Other platforms where you can reach us, you go through Simple Radio, TuneIn Radio, and Radio Garden through the apps. And if you want to watch this edition of In the News, why not go to Facebook and search for Von Newscast. There you watch this edition of the program. And if you have any comment, just drop it there and we will take it on from there. Production has been by Paul Oke. My name is Godwin Uka. Let's meet again same time next week for another edition of In the News.